Now we will look at fundamental data types in C. Let us comprehend the fundamental data types of C language. In C, all variables must be declared before they are used, usually at the beginning of a function, before any executable statement. A declaration announces the properties of variables. It consists of a type name and a list of variables. The type of a variable actually determines the type of operation that can be performed on a variable of that type. Fundamental data types. Fundamental data types are the data types implemented at the lowest level, that is, those which are used for actual data representation in memory. The fundamental data types are char, these are the characters and strings. Int is for integers. Float is for numbers with decimals. Since the fundamental data types are implemented at the machine level, their storage requirement is machine dependent. The type int means that the variables listed are integers. The range of both int and float depends on the machine you are using. 16-bit ints, which lie between minus 32,768 and plus 32,767 are common, as are 32-bit ints. Floating point variables, on the other hand, are those that have a decimal part. A float number is typically a 32-bit quantity with at least 6 significant digits and magnitude between about 10 to 38 and 1038. Character variables, on the other hand, occupy a single byte of storage. Every programming language is designed to store, access, process, and retrieve certain types of data that is part of any application. Similarly, C language uses certain types of data. Thus, the primitive data types in C language are character, integer, floating point. Let us get to know each of them in detail. Character. It is represented by keyword char, C-H-A-R. This deals with single character type of data such as F, X or $prompt. All these are in single quotation, and this quotation should be left slanted. Usually stored in 8 bits of internal storage. The size of character values ranges from minus 128 to plus 127. An example of a character value is the letter A. An example of declaring a character variable called letter is char letter semicolon. What is semicolon? It is a statement terminator. Letter A equals, in single quotation, A semicolon. Or we can directly declare it as char letter equals A in single quotation semicolon. Note, the assignment of the character A to the variable letter is done by enclosing the value in single quotes. Remember, the golden rule: characters are enclosed in single quotes. Let us talk about integer. It is represented by a keyword int, int. This deals with integer data type without decimals such as 0, 48, minus 150. Usually stored in 16 bits of internal storage. The size of an integer value ranges from minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. These are whole numbers, both positive and negative. Unsigned integers, positive values only, are supported. In addition, there are short and long integers. An example of an integer value is 32. An example of declaring an integer variable called sum. Let us see how do we declare it. Int sum semicolon. Sum equals 20 semicolon. Now let us see what are floating points. It is represented by keyword float, F-L-O-A-T. This deals with decimal point type of data such as 0.77877, 3.566, usually stored in 32 bits of internal storage with 6 digits of precision. Size of floating point value ranges from minus 3.4 E38 to plus 3.4 E38. These are numbers which contain decimal parts, both positive and negative. An example of a floating value is 34.12. An example of declaring a float variable called money. Let us see how do we declare money. Float money semicolon. Money equals 0.12 semicolon. C language data types can be broadly classified as primary data type, user defined data type.